Welcome back. For those that have been here, for those that are new, welcome to Good Earners, reviewing The Sopranos. I am Maurice Hunt, the third. And I got
And
my
I
brother.
am Spike. Oh,
Now you
wrong
good.
podcast.
I'll chop it
Oh.
off and go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. You do the intro like usual.
We got to
My
figure
bad.
that part out. I may leave this in. I don't know if they intro you or not, but the my brother over here that hosts with me, Spike Lou. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. About to wrap up this season of Sopranos, man. This has been a good ride. Hope people have enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
How about yourself, sir? How you feeling out there?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling great. And while we're on it, welcome everybody who's familiar, who hasn't been familiar. Welcome to Good Earners, where we talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and most importantly, a black perspective. We try to stay in the mind of Tony. There's a lot of podcasts. If y'all want to get really artsy, want to get really detailed and really all of those other things, there's other podcasts for that. But we try to really operate from the human standpoint of Tony Soprano. And Spike, what are we reviewing this week?
This week we have the penultimate episode of season 1 titled Isabella.
Yeah.
All right, man. This episode, Tony is deep down in his depression bag for some reason. Big Pussy has disappeared. Nobody has seen him. Junior makes the steps in getting rid of Tony. We get to see how that plays out. And Livia maybe starts to lose her mind. And so does Tony. This is episode 12, season 1, titled Isabella. Welcome to the Good Earners podcast.
Yes, sir. Nobody does it better than Spike, man.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. All right, man. So we starting off. Big Jimmy. Big Jimmy is at a funeral. Junior walks in, real quick, brief exchange.
Mhm.
Don't worry about what I know, says Junior to Jimmy. Junior can get a little testy now. You can tell that something's in motion if you're really paying attention, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think about this?
It was weird at first. I was like, why is it so short? It's just like
Yeah.
I just felt like I'm like, Jimmy, he gotta have a wire or something because he's trying so hard. And what did you say last week? Because I said I don't know if he think he's playing it off cool or he's desperate or I can't remember
desperate.
what. Oh, he's desperate. So he ain't even trying to. They probably ain't even giving him the leisure to like, hey, work it, build it. You know what I mean?
That big fat slimy fuck. He gonna bring the whole ship down. Yeah, but he ain't even trying to finesse it, man. He just so nervous and in over his head. It's coming off with like Tony Jr. Everybody like, oh,
very
on,
obvious,
bro. Like something ain't right. And that's how it happened too outside. When you outside, motherfuckers start talking crazy. You're like, bro, what are you talking about? They just start being random as fuck. You don't know what's going on. So yeah,
definitely been there. How do you feel about Junior's response? I know this is a small scene, but
yeah, he a wise old bat. I think Junior does. I don't even think Junior knows that he's being clever here and saying, "Don't worry about what I know." I think he's just being an asshole.
That's just an old school,
just old asshole. I don't even fucking know you, really, Jimmy. I just, what I'm saying, this is a funeral. I don't even really. But yeah, I think the Junior did a good job of playing him off, whether he knew he was doing it or not.
Okay. I agree.
From there, we tap in at the Bing. Chris and Sil are talking about a possible bout of depression that Tony is battling. Sil ain't biting it. Chris said, shit, he told me about it. What say you about the guys talking about Tony's depression bout?
I just love this because these guys are so unfamiliar. This is 99, dog. They're so unfamiliar in this territory of depression and Sil's like, what does he got to be depressed about? And I've seen some dope Instagrams. I can't even remember the names right now, but shouts out to them that have made some edits where they'll put that and then they'll put all of these different things that Tony been through. But it's very interesting because Sil, a detail we'll get later, Sil is an avid reader, it seems like, right? We talked about how he cares about teeth, and now another detail is he's an avid reader because he brings up Napoleon. He's a moody,
he's a history buff like Tony,
yeah. So it's a very interesting thing that he's a reader. So he's asking, what does he have to be depressed about? But Do you think Chris was genuinely concerned, or do you think Chris was using this as like a ploy to say, "Hey, I'm a little bit further in than y'all. Like I know a little bit what's going on." Me and him had a conversation in the
Like
car,
bragging.
like
Nah, I think yeah, I know what you're saying. Like
yeah,
I know him better than y'all do on some
on a
shit
low
like
key,
that.
like a quiet flex,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Like it's my uncle.
uh-huh.
No, I don't think that he was coming off like that. I think that he was genuinely concerned. Like Tony is a guy that he genuinely looks up to, whether they agree all the time or not, or whether Tony is hard on him.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. I think that he looks up to Tony and he was genuinely concerned. And Chris does a decent job. He's more self-aware than a lot of people in this story.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that conversation that Tony was asking him about suppression, he probably had some time to linger and think about it and like, oh, he was probably been through that before,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was it. It wasn't manipulative about it. I think it was really genuine.
Okay, so some general. I do like there was a phrase that I think is foreshadowing, but I think it was dope. Seal said a lot of the top guys have dark moods.
Every dog, yeah.
That was pretty heavy. Do you think that comes with the job, just being the top guy, being boss?
Yeah. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. It gets lonely at the top. All whatever little adjective you want to use for the leaders and how much they go through, put it in there. Absolutely, and it doesn't stop here.
Okay, but I do think Seal handled it well. I don't. We get some stuff later how they handle things in a real crazy way, but I think Seal is one of the most grounded guys. We'll get other parts of Seal later where you be like, okay, he's not a good guy either. But I think that Seal is one of the more grounded, open-minded in the world of the mob than most guys, I feel like.
I don't know if I've ever thought about that.
Because I think the way he receives certain news that Tony reveals in moments,
he's more thought out. I wouldn't say he had I look at him and Paulie the same. He just ain't as like, he don't react the same as Paulie do. He ain't as like,
how you look at them
instinctual. I just all like old ass Italian white man. I don't feel like Paulie got a rough, crazy, wild side, but at the end of the day, I don't really look at him being that much different from Seal. You know what I'm saying? Seal's just more of a gangster. I mean, he's just more of a gangster. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't give Seal a lot of credit for being some astute, well-read motherfucker. Like, I don't really do that.
Why?
He's a good concierge, but like, it's not because he isn't. I just don't think that they show it for me. It's not enough information for me to be like, oh yeah, he seems smart. Like, I just don't think that we've ever dug deep enough into his background to give a assessment one way or the other.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just kind of filed him off as, you see, it is what.
So you don't think he's more intelligent than Paulie, just for the record?
No, I think they about on the same level.
That's wild.
I think
that is wild. That they're not.
I don't consider Seal. So I don't consider him just like smart though. You don't have to be smart to have good advice, and I think he's good at his role. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's good at what he does. He offers Tony good advice, but I wouldn't necessarily consider him like a smart person.
But check this
out. I would consider Tony smart. Dr. Melfi is smart. These other people on down the line. Even to somebody like, I would consider the rapper dude. He was smart. Jew, he's smart.
Massive G,
yeah. Massive G is smart. What's my man name? The Jewish guy. Hesh is smart. Junior is smart.
You think Bobby, Junior is smart?
I think Junior is smart. Absolutely. Bobby is smart. I don't think Seal is like, Seal don't give
Bobby is a reach. That's
Bobby Bacalera is
that's a reach. Dude. That's you pull the bias out right
that's
now.
One of my favorite characters.
That's like, because you come on. Why are you playing with toys? We're gonna leave it there. But I wanted to say, here's why, and we can move on. The reason I think Seal is better than Paulie in this role, and smarter, is because Paulie couldn't have done his role, but Seal could have done Paulie's role. Seal could be a soldier, but Paulie can't be a consigliere.
I don't want to do no spoilers, so I ain't gonna say.
Okay, so there's a reason you feel otherwise. That's a spoiler. Okay, well, we'll keep it moving for the sake of y'all. So let's keep going on our journey. But I like it. This is good.
From there, we go to Tony. looking depressed,
Mm-hmm.
laying in the bed. Carmela walks in, oblivious as usual,
Mm-hmm.
completely dismissing how he feels. She wants to talk about everything under the sun. She opens the blinds up. She's really dismissing Tony possibly being in a depressed stage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how did you feel about how Carmela was handling Tony going through something?
I think this is a weird moment for me for Carmela's traits. She's one of the best readers of Tony. Obviously, we know they go way, way back since high school, being boyfriend, girlfriend, and even now. But we talk about that and we commend Carmela a lot on her insight and intuition with Tony. We're not gonna say she's great at a ton of things, but one thing she does know well is Tony. It just seems weird that she's just downplaying it. I don't know. It could be the times because maybe people are like, how can a tough guy like this be depressed? Or, I don't know how she's not picking this up or how long maybe he's been in the bed. Maybe she's just fed up at this point. Like maybe some time has passed since he couldn't find Big P. And like she's like, all right, I'm over it. Like you need to get up and get out and get something. Like
Mm.
maybe it's something along those. That's the only thing that kind of makes sense to me because it's like, how are you not picking this up? If he's in the bed and this is not normal behavior, and I imagine you probably never seen Tony like this up until now because he probably never even expressed, you know what I mean, up until getting therapy recently. So
I just
I
think
don't.
she wasn't buying it. Like, I don't believe this bullshit. Like, you got this lady therapist, like, you just laying in here, like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's similar to probably how most people would receive if you go and say, I'm depressed. And she was like, oh, well, shit, move over. God damn it. I got stuff that I'm worried about too. The indictments are going to infect me. What your female therapist can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things that she's like, well, you're not taking your medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she's come to her wits' ends because you're supposed to be doing things that are preventing you from getting this way, and yet you're still this way. And
Mm-hmm.
I've caught you in all of these other lies. So I don't know now. You laying in the bed. What are you just fucking the therapist? She's not giving you therapy? Are you not taking the medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think I'm not going to be affected by the indictments? I get what
Mm-hmm.
she's saying. I mean, that's the position that Tony's in. You're not going to get a lot of people that are sympathetic for you and what you're going through. You're the boss. Like, people think it's all good. So I get it. I get
Yeah.
what she's doing, what she's saying.
Okay. I mean, uh, do you think when she says that the downturn started before this, which with Big P disappearing,
Yeah.
I imagine that his emotional standpoint where he was mentally going downhill started before that. Do you think it started before that? Do we get anything like that? Or like, is it just the panic attacks or anxiety attacks or whatnot? Like, I mean, or is she
I don't
just
think
like,
so.
okay,
I don't think we saw it. I think this was the worst that we've seen.
okay, because I'm almost like, okay, she's like the downturn started before this though. Like you've
Yeah.
been going down being a moody, in the words of Seal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just seen if maybe you picked up that there was a moment for that or not.
I
But
didn't.
okay,
No.
that's cool.
All right. So Tony stumbles to the shower, takes his med, sits in the shower with his robe on. Um, really just, you know, really digging into his depression is what that scene was doing.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we go back to the funeral.
Well, we see
Junior's
somebody.
back there. Excuse me. Yes, we did skip. Tony gets up after Carmela opens the blinds and he sees a mysterious figure in the
Mm-hmm.
Cusimano's yard, hanging
Mm-hmm.
up clothes. Tony wonders, who's this? Who is this chick?
Yeah.
And he takes his meds, he goes, looks in the mirror, stumbles to the shower. Then we go back to Junior. Junior's at the funeral. Mikey's running late. Junior
Mm-hmm.
comes in, Mikey comes in, talks to Junior about quote unquote the thing.
Yeah.
And here we have confirmation that it's in play that Tony may be assassinated this
Mm-hmm.
episode. Maurice,
Mm-hmm.
first look. When you're looking at this, did you think, man, they could possibly kill Tony and somebody else take over? Like, was that ever a looming thing for you as a fan of the show?
I don't even know if in the first time, I don't even know if I was picking up really the nuance or the plot of he's really doing this.
That's a good point. That's a really good point you bring up because I was the same way. Like
because I'm
I
Junior, I didn't
wasn't the
take him
first
serious
time
enough.
watching this. Yeah, the first time watching this, I wasn't sure what was going on until the black dudes ran up to it
Mm-hmm.
and started shooting at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you there.
Um, but yeah, so I wasn't picking that up, but there was a few things that was really interesting to me. Um, one, Junior keeping this concept going of Junior being old school. Because we even talked last episode, I believe Mikey was talking about, like, Junior's old school, and I think Mikey loves that about him, and so Junior cuts him no slack about being late. But I found it funny how Tony on the last episode, Paulie was late at the Bing when he told him go check Big P to see if he got a wire. There was more slack there versus Junior's like, nah, what? Nah, ain't no excuse why you late, bro. Like, I love
Yeah,
certain, like,
I'm at a fucking funeral. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What else do you have to do?
yeah,
Like, I get Junior with this. Like, what else do you got to do, bro? We got some serious shit going on. There's no reason you should be stumbling here late, bro. It's a funeral, first of all.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm waiting on you, nigga, and I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I get that. I fuck with Junior being anal on this.
I do. Do you? They hired black guys, so the hit is being put in motion. Are we that low on the
niggas?
Yeah, are we that low on the totem pole in the world of the mafia versus?
Nah.
Or you know what I mean? Because we know later on they'll what convenient.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
So it's convenience that they hire the black guys because I'm thinking
y'all niggas need the money, and there's no way that they could tie it back to me. I'm not gonna hire no black dude to kill Tony Soprano. He thinking that's a smart move, you know?
Do you think it was? Versus hiring overseas?
I'm
not
sure. Yeah, but I'm not sure that Junior. See, if you go overseas, now I got to include other people locally too. If I go with just a black dude, it can be between me, Mikey, and whatever third-rate gangster that goes and get the black dudes. But if I go overseas, now I got to talk to New York. They got to sanction it, because overseas doesn't mean like New Jersey has a facet over there. It means we all associated with the mafia. I need access to what's overseas. So now I got to go from Jersey to New York, so New York can get the guy from overseas.
From Italy.
So you involving more people in it if you go overseas versus we're going to keep this local. Either one of my guys will do it, or we'll just hire some black guys to do it, and nobody ever think that it was a thing. Because again, Junior don't want nobody. He don't want one. You can't make a hit on a boss, and unbeknownst to Junior, Tony is regarded as the boss outside of Junior's clique.
But Junior
like
can make
New York,
the hit, though.
No, he can't. A boss can't even hit a boss. You got to get.
Tony's not a boss though. He's a capo. Is that?
Tony is a boss. Remember, that's the whole thing.
No, he's
telling Junior that he's the boss, but in reality, outside of that circle, Johnny Sack, the rest of New York, that's what that whole meeting was about when he talked to Johnny Sack. All of those guys are looking at Tony as the boss.
But if Junior has the official title, like they know,
that's what I'm saying. Junior doesn't have any title other than you ain't peep that.
I know that. I know Tony is operating as boss.
In this episode, when Tony, after the thing happened, Seal asked Tony, he said, do you think that he knows that he's just a figurehead and that's why this is happening? You know what I mean? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. But
yeah, so everybody else knows this except for Junior's crew and Junior. This is regarded everywhere. Everybody knows that Tony is the real boss. We're just telling Junior this to keep the peace.
I thought that Junior is the actual underboss, acting boss, or whatever. But from a title standpoint, but we don't answer to him. We answer to Tony.
Only people that think Junior is the boss is Junior, his crew, and the feds. Everybody else knows it's Tony shop.
So then Tony could have clapped him. Then
he could have, but it's his uncle.
Okay.
No, Tony sentimental.
He does. That's my Uncle Junior.
Absolutely, that's my Uncle June. So Junior back at the funeral. Mikey go over the thing. Mikey tells him we good, we ready to go. And Mikey's sick.
He's
I,
the Grim Reaper for real, bro. He
facts.
enjoys killing, dude.
He loves it.
He loves
He power
killing.
hungry. He power hungry. He know
Yeah, because
each
he's
kill
talking
is
about the
gonna
bump
move
up.
him up in the rank. Yeah, it's moving
Mm-hmm.
me up.
Okay.
Junior, excuse me, Chris, he goes to visit Tony because he's worried about him. He gives him an update on pussy. Nobody has seen him. And he's just trying to get a feel of what Tony is, what he's doing. Tony says he's going to walk downstairs, and Chris was like, "What are you going to do down there?"
Mm-hmm.
As if he would just walk down there and kill himself, which I felt was hilarious.
It
What
was.
do you think about Chris's concern about his uncle right here, his
I
cousin?
thought this was dope. And it's a real thing because only Tony and Chris have had the conversation. Have you ever thought
Yeah,
about offing yourself? You know, he did the gun gesture to the mouth when they had that the regularness of life conversation. But I think that he understands that was a connection that him and his uncle Tony had that brought them closer. Chris may or may not have dealt with some level of depression because he said you're sleeping all the time. So now Chris is throwing it back in Tony's court because he was like, that's the only thing that I still enjoy. So now he's throwing it back in Tony's court. That's why I think he said that the seal was like, well, he's sleeping all the time. So maybe I know I was depressed because I'm not being mentioned by the feds, you know, this and that, you know, rather it's valid or not, whatever. So I think that, but I definitely think it's like, man, you're going to off yourself because Tony initiated that question.
yes, true.
I don't think Chris ever thought about that ever. So when somebody asks that question, you'd be like, whoa, wait, what?
Where'd that come from?
Exactly. So I think that's a part of why you like, you know, hey, you coming back up, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what
you going down there to do, bro? What's going on?
Straight
You
up.
got your robe on in the middle of the
You got a
day.
whole maid. What you need to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll do nothing true. All right. From there, Tony goes outside.
Mm-hmm.
He meets the strange woman from the window, and she's staying at the Cusimano's house. Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I feel about their fucking dream sequences.
Oh man.
When you seen this lady, what did you think was going on?
You talking about the original time?
Yes.
Oh man, I'm following. I'm all the way with it. I'm like, man,
did you think it was a dream, or did you think she was there at the Cusimano's house?
I thought
you didn't pick up on the scene switches, like when he went to talk up how it looked different a little bit.
Nah, I didn't.
No, not really.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Now it's easy, obviously. I mean, you know it's all, but like, I didn't pick up on it at first, but this one don't. I'm not as mad at the dreams. I more so don't like. There's a dream, you know, we talk about. I think Tess dream later, but I don't like the overkill where it's like y'all did all this to say one thing that we could have picked up in the first sequence. You know what I mean? That the later on season 5 one, but here this doesn't bother me. It doesn't, because if you go back to the scenes before, they do a close up on the Prozac and lithium.
And then they go into like he's phasing into that.
So yeah, so then it's like, okay, now the medicine kicked in.
This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Bro, you got it. This can't be this can't be the worst of them though.
No, it's not. It's far from the worst. I feel like it's just a waste of time though. I hate when they prolong stuff and waste time. Not exclusive to the Sopranos either. Any dream sequence, Lost is famous for them. Snowfall, any one of them, it's like, bro, miss me with this shit.
So what could they have done here in this episode?
I don't want him daydreaming around having fake dates with Isabella, and we find out that it's fake later. Where's pussy at? Like, just give us more information in the world. Anytime a TV show removes me from the world for a dream sequence or a flashback or a flash forward, and it's not really conducive to the storyline, I don't like it. It's not exclusive to the Sopranos. It's just in general. I feel like it's a waste of time. It may be some writing thing, some trope that I don't know about because I'm not a writer, but I hate the dream sequences and stuff that take you away from the story to give you context to the story. Just give us the context in the story. Why they got to be dreaming, bro? So that's my little rant. Rant right there.
That makes sense. So nobody's ever got that right for you? Where you was like, oh, I'm glad they gave us that.
Oh, good question. I can't think of.
Okay, that's a wide loaded question there. So you have to really, that takes more than like a couple seconds to think off the rip. But I know what you mean. I'm kind of with you on it. I do like more of like put me in the world of it. The dreams don't
that's
bother
what we're
me.
here for. Let us figure the problems out with the characters, bro. I don't want to be outside of the world figuring it out.
But the dream doesn't bother me as much, and it's probably me being more on the creative side of it versus logical in certain moments. Because this one, we'll get further down, but this one was completely unnecessary. This one was completely unnecessary.
Melfi tried to explain it, but it didn't even like. Who cares at this point, bro?
Well, and then it was like, okay, we'll wait till we get to that point because we're jumping way ahead. But
okay, all right.
But she beautiful woman though, nonetheless.
Oh, drop dead gorgeous. Jeez,
I'm gonna ask you season 2 between her and a later one-off woman. I'm gonna see which one you got over the other.
Hard to beat her.
Yeah, because she's got it, man.
Yes, sir. Whew. All right, Tony goes outside. He meets a strange woman. We move on from there to a hitman. Now, I didn't pick up on this.
Okay.
The hitman were following or seeing Tony at the newsstand. I thought that they were following him, but that was Chris that was following him.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure he was okay. He's just, checking in on his cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And he follows him to the newsstand.
Yeah.
And he goes in to the office and goes to the doctor's office. That's this little secret entry into Melfi's office. Chris has an altercation with the two black guys who are hired to hit Tony. What were you thinking at this point? Did you think they were going to shoot Chris too? Did you think Chris saved the day? How'd you take this as a fan?
I didn't think they was going to shoot Chris. It's broad daylight, dog. I mean, they were going for the hit right now, obviously, but this is too many variables, and black people, we don't move like that. It's one thing to ask us to hit some guy and you pay us a good penny. It's another thing to say, okay, now we got to come up with a couple of cover-ups.
You know what I mean? In broad daylight.
Yeah, so we got to shoot both of them. They're both in the mob. I don't know. I don't have the detailed facts on this other young guy.
I don't think he knew. They didn't know him. They thought he was just a pedestrian. They didn't know who Chris was.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they thought Chris was just some random ass.
Right, you're right. But I thought it was hilarious. The black dude tried the police act. That never works for us. Why don't ever say I'm a part of the FBI or like? And he didn't realize he was dealing with a mob guy. He was like, okay, well,
where your badge at?
Yeah, where your badge at? We got police on payroll, bro.
Yeah,
that was
deal with motherfuckers like
dog. That was so funny to me. Then he just snapped out of character immediately. Like, man, move your car, dude. Like.
He should have pulled that strap on Chris. Nigga, get the fuck out of the way, nigga.
Boy. But I do like Chris. Chris gets it right sometimes, man.
Yes, he does.
He gets it right.
Chris is one of those characters. It fluctuates up and down between, man, I'm really fucking with him, and man, what the fuck are you doing?
Boy.
Yeah.
Thin line between love and hate right there.
That's the extent for him. Facts. Yeah. All righty. So they follow him. Chris throws it off.
Mm-hmm.
They lose the tail out of the back of the door. Chris is confused. The guys are confused. Tony's in Dr. Melfi's office. Nice getaway for Tony there. Flash to Junior. Junior gets the news. He is literally sick to his stomach that it doesn't happen. Mikey and another third party are talking about, hey, when do we get another chance to do this? The guy makes a joke about Tony's mom. Junior doesn't like it. Mikey kills him. Pretty, very serious thing from this right here. What did you think about this?
Junior, he make me sick. He just makes me sick right here. Like, you throwing up because you can't deal with the idea that you have to kill your little nephew, right?
Yep.
But this guy right here it's the Olivia trope where it's like the other guy, I don't know. Like, you're so, he was saying, what about me? Kill him. Bro.
No, what if he said something about me? I think Junior was right in this scenario.
I mean, he was right, but it's still weak, though.
How is it weak? I feel like it's a player's strength.
I feel like it's that Marlo Stanfield thing right here. It's just like, my name is my
you don't
name.
Fuck with Marlo?
I can't stand Marlo.
Holy shit, Big Jeff, dig your grave.
There's a guy, Rich. Rich, if you listening, he's a listener of ours, and I'm a listener of theirs at Culture Garden. He always hits me up all the time about the show. But hey, I mean, Marlo was the best. Don't get it twisted. I just don't like him. I just don't like him.
Just one of those characters for you.
Yeah, I just can't stand him.
Okay, yeah, I got characters like that, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this. This was it for me, of course. Like Junior, I get it. Like,
he was winning you back right here.
I fuck with Junior though.
Do you?
I don't really. Yeah, I fuck with Junior.
He's a
I don't
weirdo,
really.
but you still rock with him outside of
Yeah,
the
he a
weirdo
weirdo,
stuff.
but I fuck with Junior. Yeah, he's definitely a classic weirdo. But I
Okay.
kind of get his thought process sometimes. He ain't my least favorite character,
Oh,
but
okay.
I get it here. Like, who is this poo put third party ass nigga? Like, why would you even feel comfortable making that joke at all?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't play with me, bro.
Okay.
And that goes to what you talk about with my personality sometimes. Like, I would have felt the same way that you like, go ahead and kill him,
But
bro.
it really
Because who
wasn't even
knows what this motherfucker gonna say? Like, he said that with me right here. And I
okay.
know he don't know I'm back here in the back seat, but you ought to have enough respect where he ought not be saying no shit like that about Tony, man. Kill this dude. No telling who he gonna tell, the police or whatever when something happens.
Yeah.
Get this nigga out of here.
But the joke wasn't even really he wasn't lying.
He
He
said your
shouldn't have did
own
it.
mom's trying to kill you. Like, what are you talking about, bro? That ain't no shit you say. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about like
No, yeah,
like,
yeah, like yeah.
what the
I
fuck
don't.
is you talking about, man? Don't come over around here talking about like what? Are you serious?
That's
And
funny.
you talking about like a boss? Man, nigga.
That's funny. He said, hey, yo, wait up.
Hey, he said, hey, one thing. Mikey was cold with that.
Mikey
said,
loves
sorry.
Mikey loves killing, bro. This
It
guy
was so slick. That was one of the best kills in this.
because he had it tucked off. He was like tucked off real smooth.
Hey, oh.
Man,
that's funny, man.
That's crazy. Mikey, he really loves killing, dog. Like Uncle Junior ducking down all like I understand them, but man, golly.
Big dog move by June. Man.
Yeah, it was. All
right, from there, Tony goes to talk to Dr. Melfi, tells how he's been feeling, man. And she asks, are you angry? Are you sad? Are you happy? What is it? He's like, man, I don't feel shit. I just don't feel anything. Which is an interesting place to be for somebody like Tony. And she tries to help him through it as he was explaining that the depths of his depression. Maurice, what did you pick up from?
So much. Of course, classic Melfi legs.
Yeah.
But the statement that he says, I'm like, I have the Midas touch in reverse. Do you think throughout the series that's the truth? Everything he touched basically falls, it goes downhill?
No, I don't think that.
Okay, so then it is just he's in the moment with that.
Yeah, it's a depression thing.
Okay. Do you think this is the most honest Tony has been when he says, I'm not a husband to my wife, I'm not a father to my kids, I'm not a friend to my friends?
Absolutely. That was a bar right there. He was in his bag knowing how he felt. Like he knew that he wasn't meeting his obligations as a man. So that was a bar right there. Like I know that laying in the bed all day is not conducive to what I need to be doing, but I just don't feel like doing shit else, man. Like, that's a tough place to be in.
Yeah.
And to be able to admit it, a big, powerful, strong man like Tony saying, man, I ain't even a husband. I ain't a dad or any of those things. I feel like that was one of his most vulnerable moments on the show, especially for this season.
Absolutely. Do you think it takes that a lot of times, like getting down that much to be that honest with yourself? Like, let me not stop playing. This is really what's going on.
Yeah, man. Like it's hard to do too. Like you got to be real with yourself sometimes, and it's hard to do because you spend a lot of time trying to pump yourself up, tell yourself that you can do shit. It's hard sometimes to be like, man, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, bro. Like I'm out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's a rough thing. What do you think?
No, everything you said, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like I've been down in tears and was just like, all right.
What am I supposed to be doing?
It was just like,
yeah.
All right, cut it, bro. Be real. You ain't on it like you thought. You deserve this. Now what you gonna do from here? You know what I'm saying? So I've definitely this was definitely, like you said, one of the top moments. Hopefully we can note this later down the road when we maybe do some top moments and all of that as far as maybe down the end of the pod or whatever. But she's bumping up his Prozac. And that, I mean, it's about to get really ridiculous.
Right off of bumping up the Prozac, he goes into another scenario where he meets the lady that's staying at the Cusimano's house.
Isabella.
And they have lunch.
Yeah.
Isabella. She has a hero sandwich that she asked Tony about. Tony like, baby, let's go get some real food. Let's go get some pasta and steak and shit, man. Let me take you out.
Yeah.
And Tony takes her out. They have a discussion over lunch. What do you think about this?
Interesting enough. I mean, she's got it going on. Okay, I probably can't say that enough, but she just harps on this earthquake thing. She harps on this earthquake thing over and over, and then Tony says that his grandfather was a stonemason.
Yeah.
So now it makes me see things. So if his grandfather was a stonemason, I don't know exactly what Johnny did before getting in the mafia. Or I even got there, but it just kind of made me that was a small detail that was really interesting to me. Just kind of seeing the lineage and say, okay, so Johnny was almost, maybe he was a hybrid. He did work regular work, and then he ended up being in the mafia. And then Tony did.
His dad had a construction job too. But yeah, Tony talks about before how when he took AJ to that neighborhood and how his people helped build that church that was there.
Yeah, that was, I think that might have been a pilot or the second episode, 46, but
no,
it's 46
that ain't
long.
happened yet. We took AJ
you talking about with Meadow? Oh no, I thought you were talking about with Meadow when he took Meadow to the church. That I thought, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about when he took AJ to the black neighborhood.
Oh, you kiss your mother with that mouth, yeah. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting detail to kind of bring the lineage in. It's like, okay, his grandfather was probably on the straight and narrow. His father was like a hybrid, and then he's like all the way in, you know. So it's just interesting to me, that detail. The vision, you know, the breastfeeding, it was whatever. But I mean, beautiful architecture.
It was weird as fuck. That's what it was.
Why was it weird? Just breastfeeding is weird on camera.
Just where did that come from? No, not breastfeeding at all. But like where, what? As a viewer looking at that for the first time, you like, well, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
like you don't have no idea if he's dreaming or not yet. So they right there having lunch, and then it goes to her breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, I don't like it. I do not like it.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Yeah, did not like it. Meadow calls Tony down for dinner in the next scene. Olivia joins them.
Mm-hmm.
Tony comes down looking atrocious. That man was a mess.
Funky man.
Yeah, man. I would excuse myself.
Yeah.
Looks stinky. Stains on the wife beater, robe on. It's 7:00 at night. Y'all eating dinner. Olivia says something, upsets Tony, talking about his depression. He leaves. They discuss his depression as he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
He goes upstairs. He sees the girl in the window. Carm comes, asks him what he's looking at. They have an argument. She says she's going to cut his dick off. Mm-hmm. If she were a lesser woman, she would cut his dick off, she says.
Okay, hold on. We can't skip over the dinner because there's a couple of things. Olivia harps on this mother in the news killing her 3 children, which is contrary to what he just envisioned with Isabella, breastfeeding her child. So the fantasy versus reality, I think that's a part of it here. Like what maybe he yearns for versus what his reality is. I'm coming down and my mom is harping on that. Then to go further, and this is a pet peeve of mine, bro, but like when people just you be chilling with them and they always seem to bring up the worst things on the news, bro. That's the word. I can't tell you the level of disdain I have when people do that. Like, oh, you know,
or the worst things about you.
Yeah, or the worst.
You
things
remember
about
that
me.
time you fell on your face, bruh?
And so it was just that. And then when you're going through something, you can't have that moment. You can't have the moment of going through it. She says, well, your dad, or Olivia's dad. So we get now his grandfather on his dad's side and his grandfather on his mom's side. I thought it was another interesting detail. She said, my dad came here with 17 cents and never talked. It's like, so he came here in his conditions. I can't be depressed. You see what I'm saying? It's like there's levels to it. It's like it's so deep because it's like everybody is saying you have no reason to be depressed, but they don't understand the chemical imbalance that he's going through. Like it doesn't matter. Like everybody's different. Everybody's mind, and of course it's 99, so it's a given. That's how it was. That's the mindset. I'm not critiquing it like from trying to be like 2023 all extra woke or nothing like that. But I'm just saying like it's like, yo, everybody is different, bro. Like, and they just like flat out like, what does he got to be depressed about? What's your problem? Like, why are you looking ugly? Why are you coming down stinking? What
you crying for?
what you crying for? But the funniest thing, we can move on to that morning scene, but she dogs him. She dogs him about his depression and everything.
Oh
Then
man,
she said
Livy
it's
ain't
a
trying to hear none of
joke.
that shit.
People are the worst when they say the worst things and say I'm joking. Oh my gosh.
I was just
Man,
playing.
stop. Nah,
Yeah,
that'll
I'm
work
gonna
now.
finish.
You can't do that with me now. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you
Yeah,
feel. No, I'm playing now.
right.
Like, that's how you feel. That's cool.
Okay.
Keep it there.
You finna get this right. Exactly. We gonna it's up and it's stuck.
It's up.
It's stuck. All right. Livia and Junior go to the movies after the altercation that she has with Tony at the dinner table. And they talk about what Junior talks about. And it's in motion, Livia. Like, you're gonna take care of this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she was playing coy here, or did you think she was telling him to go ahead and do it? What did you think she was saying about taking Tony out?
She wasn't tripping. I think his problem is like, if we notice throughout this episode, he's trying to distance himself from Tony and anything to connect him from an emotional standpoint. I'm ducking down in the car. I don't want to see it. I'm talking to her. Hey, look, it's what's done is done. We're doing it. Like, I don't talk to me about sentimental stuff. We'll get another scene where Junior's still on that because it's like I have to in my mind forget that he exists, that he anything about him being my little nephew, because I gotta murk him and get him out the game. Don't bring in sentimental things because now I will second guess myself and I'm boss in my own mind. So I think that her going into it and trying to kind of talk about how he was at dinner, I don't want to hear that right now. I don't care about it. Don't give me no updates on his well-being. I got the play in motion. And I think it's going to be a very funny when we get their transaction. Well, a couple transactions down later, his reaction is gold. But yeah, I think he's ultimately like, I got to do this. I know he's close to me. I got to get him out of here. Don't give me no update. It's like breaking up with somebody. Like, I don't try to pull my heartstrings. I'm doing this today. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Facts. So we go from there to the bed where Tony is again. He goes to look for the girl and she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What that meant to me was this was a day that he didn't take the medicine. Right?
Oh, really?
I just thought about that as we were talking when you said that earlier.
Uh-huh.
Because that would explain how he was able to fight off what happens next. Right? Like if he was under the medicine, under the influence, he wouldn't have been able to react like he had been able to react.
Yeah.
So I'm just now like literally my 6th, 7th time watching this. And as you said, I'm realizing he goes to walk to the window. She's not there. He's not having the hallucinations that day. He's on his shit. They're trying to tell us.
Okay.
Like it's the regular Tony Soprano. So it shouldn't be as far-fetched when we see these two amateurs at the newsstand try to do the hit on him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's aware now. I ain't the Prozac riddle in a haze of depression guy. I'm Tony fucking Soprano. I don't got no more medicine. Or I ain't take the medicine today. The chick not there. I'm outside. And I think that's what we see happen as the two black guys, the hitmen, try to roll up and smoke Tony. Of course, they're unsuccessful. And Tony gets out and he gets a rush that he's been looking for.
But you know what I realized, bro?
What's that?
We think they're amateurs, like black. Like we seen a scene earlier where the black dude's holding a gun sideways, like he was making a reference to like that. But like these dudes are like, he looked like a professional. Like I'm not saying he's like some well known, but he looked like, oh, he know what he's doing. But here's a detail that we got to keep in mind: when Mikey and Junior was at the funeral, he said, don't shoot him in the face." So that's why you get the orange juice cap, because it's like, okay, I got to kill him, but I can't shoot him in the face. I don't know what my well-being would do if I don't. You see what I'm saying? So I think that it wasn't. They still was like they could have approached this so differently. It was, but I used to be like, bro, how you miss? But now I understand it's like, no, they wanted to hit him in the body and kill him from there because they want him to be presentable, because that was Junior's request for his family and everything. They don't want him to shoot him in the face. So that's why the orange juice got hit. And also orange juice is a reference to Godfather. We know that, when he was getting oranges, all that, just get that out the way. So people are like, I not know. Like, we know. But Yeah, I thought that was just a really interesting detail that was mentioned earlier than we see here, that they were unfortunately unsuccessful. Tony's kind of that guy right here, man.
Yeah, Tony was Tony fucking Soprano right here.
Man,
This is why you tune into the show right here. This dude
this
here.
it right here. Yeah,
This
this
is the
guy.
fucking superhero that we all root for. This dude. Absolutely. I love this scene. It works. It worked.
It does.
It worked. The build up to it worked. Seeing him in bed moping around, and boom, sprang it back into action as soon as the action comes. I love this.
And I agree.
My favorite parts of the episode.
I think I agree with you on the medicine thing, because they go from they seem to make it a thing for Tony taking medicine. They'll give it a second. We don't assume. I mean, he does take medicine probably off camera too, but I think in that moment we get the earlier scene. We see Prozac and lithium. Here we see Bed going for the orange juice. So I kind of lean into your theory of he didn't take medication today. So right. I like that idea. So that's why he was attentive.
King. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So Tony wrecks the car in the failed hit attempt. At least he didn't die. They go to the hospital. The family's running in and wondering, is he okay? We kind of left on the edge a little bit as the viewer, knowing like Tony was head on the steering wheel. We don't know if he made it or not. But we assuming that he does. And the family runs in. FBI comes to talk to Tony in the hospital. They offer him witness protection. And you see the doubt creep in on Carmela, like, this is our chance. This is our chance to get out. And Tony doubling down on who the fuck he is. I'm Tony Soprano.
What do you say?
Ain't no what fucking move to Utah? Be a pharmacist or some shit.
What do you say about being the father though? Tell us, Spike. What do you say?
Tony Soprano is the fucking father.
That's what he.
Yeah. Tony Soprano. They got him. It's Tony Soprano.
Talk. Man.
Yeah, so he was in his bag right there.
He was
again. No meds. I'm back on my shit. Ain't I'm not a father to my, like, no.
Oh, she kicked it up too. So maybe that can be okay. Yeah, sorry. Yep. Exactly. But a couple of things. I wondered what there was AJ was looking a certain way. He didn't really say anything, but I was wondering what he was feeling.
I think it was similar to when Tony crept into the butcher and saw his dad cut the dude's finger off. You think that this moment is that for him? I think that's that for him. Seeing his dad shot, could have died. He don't really kind of know what's going on, kind of don't. I think this is that for him. For the new generation.
Okay. I'm wondering too, because there's the funeral scene earlier where, you get the classic wink where he figured the Meadow introduced that he's in the mafia and you get that look like he's looking at his dad different. There's this moment. And the reason I asked it because of later scenes, how he feels about his father and being injured, being hurt, and the possibilities of things. Agent Harris, he tries to offer them the Henry Hill deal. Yeah, let's get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I know what's up, Tony. This ain't no carjacking. I know what this is. Do you agree with Tony with, like, Carmela, you need to wait outside? You feel like she was out of pocket, or she was like, nah, get the fuck out. Yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with you. You don't need, like, I don't even want my wife to hear this, that's an option. Because now she going to be on my back like, well, we could go to Utah, and be like, nah, get out. Let me talk to him. Yeah. And we going to keep living how we was living. And even more than that, with that, but more, you're not an accomplice. The minute you start to understand, like, oh, we should take that deal. Oh, so you do know what's going on. Exactly. Right. Get out of here. Like that. This ain't got shit to do with you. But you know what this is? Why you should be asking, why is he even offering you a deal? For what? A deal for what? Exactly. You're a businessman. You do trash. What would a trash man need a deal for? And see, there it is. He's in waste management. Like, what are we talking about? But you know what this speaks to? A previous episode where she wants to say, what if something happens to you? You'll be taken care of. So I think this was a moment where she's like, okay, she got him in a vulnerable state. You just got hit. I'm going to lean into it like, nah, we need to, I want to hear this. Let me see if I can I want to make myself more important right now. I feel like she just used this because she's like, I want to be in the loop. I want some importance. I need this moment to feel like I have a voice. And it's just the wrong time, dog. It's completely the wrong time. I was like, man, get out of here, Carmela. What are you doing? But I love that line about the father. It's like, come on, Tony, we can take this deal and start over. The kids need a father. They got a father. You know what it is. Like, and his name is Tony Soprano. Like, stop acting like butter wouldn't melt in your mouth. And I know that's later down the road, but I just had to pull that line right there, dog.
That's a classic. All
Boy.
right. From there, Seal and Paulie come to the hospital. They visit Tony. AJ doesn't believe it was a carjacking. So we get a little
Hmm.
more insight to him, like understanding what his dad actually does. And anything from Seal and Paulie right here for you?
I love this. I love, and even more so Paulie here, because Paulie doesn't have kids, according to my understanding. Uh, so Seal has girls, but Paulie doesn't have kids. So even just coming here, even if he's going through the motions, I like that he's trying here. He hugs AJ, give him a little kiss on the forehead. Of course, Seal, hugs Meadow and stuff. And I like the idea here of him trying to do that. I mean, of course, if this is what the boss needs, we're going to do what the boss needs. But I like that he is doing this. He could have just waved or could have just been like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, kids, you all right? You good? All right, we're going to go check on your father. But I like that he did embrace him with a hug. And I thought that was cool. And I like that they call him Uncle Paulie and, Uncle Seal, which we know that's like a classic trope. Like when women that have kids are dating a man, we call him Uncle.
In the black neighborhood.
In the black neighborhood, yeah. Trope. That's a funny
thing. From there, Livia and Junior, they get the news that Tony made it. Junior is spooked out of his mind. Livia, cooler heads prevailing, like, okay, we need to go see him, act like nothing's happened. At this point, she's still acting like she knows what's going on, but she's going to lose that tone really quickly. This is one thing that can be debated throughout Soprano lore, Maurice. Yeah. Is she really crazy? Is this really affecting her, or is she acting?
I still can't call it.
She cold.
I can't. This is probably the most genius.
I looked at it 6 times and I still don't know. I do not know if she's for real or like she's really getting old. I don't know. Have you ever grew up like? Well, excuse me. Have you ever been around someone with like Alzheimer's or dementia?
Yes. Well, I didn't grow up with my grandfather-in-law. He does.
You were around him when he started to start forgetting stuff and forgetting who people were.
I haven't been around him a lot like that because it ain't like, we ain't tight like that. You know what I'm saying? But like I've been around, but.
That's a real thing though, bro. Like she played this role well. They wrote this well because you don't know. Like sometimes you can just be talking to them and they'll say something like, "What?"
That'd be mad regular sometimes.
Yeah, and then like you said, sometimes it can just be like a normal conversation. My grandmother suffered from it before she passed. Sometimes she'd say the craziest shit to like my mom or some shit like that, and sometimes she just be normal. Wow. So it's crazy. She's doing a very good job of this, and I think Junior's like, I done fucked up. I done fucked up. I done put the eggs in the basket with this crazy lady, is what Junior's thinking.
Yeah, and then it's just like Junior treating Livia like the consigliere. It's like, bro, he asking, what are we going to do now? You so weak, bro.
This is why you're not boss, though.
This is why you're not. This is why you're not boss, because you should have somebody like a Silvio Dante, bro. Where's your Silvio?
And even a spoiler alert. And I just thought about this too. The reason that spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Many Saints in the Wood, the reason Junior bitch ass killed Dickie was over a woman. Like Junior got this thing with women where he can't really keep himself together and always force them and let them dictate what's going on. Do you remember he put the hit out on Dickie and it was about a woman? Yeah, so
Junior I didn't remember it was about a woman.
What did you think it was about?
I think now I do remember. I think I do remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I think Dickie took his woman or something like that. I gotta watch Many Saints in Newark again.
Yeah, we'll give you our review.
Junior been on this type of time for a long time, letting women manipulate him and make him look stupid.
We get that lady later on down the road, and it's just like, I mean, we know he's just like a weirdo with women, like but yeah, it's just you need your Silvio Dante. You got your brother's wife that has passed is giving you all the advice, and she
may be suffering from dementia,
but she's still on it though. Yeah. And I don't like Livia, but her play here I think was the right play. Do you think this play was right? Hey, we need to go see.
No, she was 100% right.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% right.
Is this the classic Tupac and Juice go to the funeral of Q and do the hug and everything?
Yeah, I didn't do shit. I'm here. Why would I be? Yeah. This is it.
Crazy, dog. Scary scene right there.
Facts. All right, from there, Tony's back at the house. People are coming by to see him, tell him how big of a hero well, not hero, but how much of a soldier he is for enduring this.
Mm-hmm.
Chris drops a bomb that, hey, I seen the hitman. They tried this shit 2 days ago, which
Mm-hmm.
sparks everybody's brains as to, okay, this really wasn't a carjacking.
Mm-hmm.
This was a hit, and who was it?
Mm-hmm.
Chris speculates that it may have been his uncle, and Livia and Junior walk in.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Mo?
I wonder, how did Chris put this together? Chris is not dumb.
Who else would be trying to kill him? And why? I think that's what Chris was basing it off of.
Okay.
Like we good.
Oh,
there's
okay.
no wars going on. Ain't no bullshit going on. I know New York ain't doing this. Is Tony fucking Soprano.
Right. Because
ain't too many people finna take no shots at him.
And then Seal was like, well, I think your Uncle Junior knows that he's Joe Jerkoff and not the boss.
Right.
So it wants to
so
start.
Who else would it be?
Yeah. So okay.
Because
he don't really got no enemies at this point. Like he's good with New York. Only enemies is him and the feds.
The only thing he's worried about is the indictments. It shouldn't be murders. And
right. You're right.
It is, and who is it? It's got to be my uncle. Because he's the only one that I got any smoke with.
Because I got people in my crew that are like rats. Yeah. They ain't trying to murder me, because murder me doesn't benefit them their sentence. But so you're right. It does narrow it down. It's like I got some rats, I got the feds, and
it shows how immersed. I like this because Chris can be detached. Chris can be not of like what's going on, write his scripts and worried about the news and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be paying attention to pick up on that. Like you said, like you got to be like, okay, well, who the fuck would take a shot at us?
Mm-hmm.
We the hardest niggas supposedly in the streets in New Jersey. Like it has to be someone who feel like they just as powerful. And who would that be? It's Junior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good job by Chris.
Chris is he's a character where when he focuses on that thing, I think he can get anything accomplished when he's focused on it. I do.
Chris a boss when he focused.
Yeah, I think he's one of them guys, like when he, especially later down the road, at moments where he gets in a bag where I'm like, yo, this is the guy I always
knew he could be.
I always knew he could be. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But so funny thing is Uncle Junior comes in and he has the fakest he wasn't even like, he didn't know how to even acknowledge. He looking at Livia and Livia's energy, because he didn't even know what to do. He didn't even know how to act. I mean, which is weird because, I just tried to kill you. You know what I mean? So it's weird to try to be cool, but like he didn't even know how to play it off like at all, versus we know Tony, he's a mastermind. Like he could, we get a scene later with with him and Paulie, and like just the what am I gonna do here moment where he's smiling, but you still like, is he or ain't he? And he's able to still keep his intentions concealed. I think it just speaks to difference. Maybe they're probably like you said, the psychopath part of it. But Father Phil walks in. Father Antontola. He's like, hey, I come as a friend. If you want to pray or we can go to the back and we can talk or something.
To it. You're staying at night, right?
Right. Oh my gosh, bro. Tony's so good with the bars, bro. He's so good with the bars, like
with everything that he got going on. Too.
Yeah,
that's so good. That was so good.
That was so good, bro. I love that.
Thanks.
But and then we get Meadow, the whole Meadow. Like, who is that girl? Who is she? And then did you have to look at that moment over and over and say, okay, she's putting on, or at that moment?
What you talking about?
So Meadow was walking by. I think the Gabagoo moment is like, hey, Gabagoo, over here. And they bring it over to Seal and them. And they're sitting there having a conversation about Uncle Junior right there over there at the island of the kitchen. Like, they said, like, man, you think he was behind? Yeah, he definitely was behind. He turns around and wave at him. Right. And so then she was like, who's that girl? And it's like, Meadow, that's your granddaughter. Like, and he was like kind of frustrated.
When Livia did that.
Yeah, he was looking at her weird like, I know you didn't just try. You already made the play. You left me out here.
Me on
you
the
dirty,
island,
raggedy
you motherfucker. That's how he left.
Because look, she's like, she separated herself from me too. Like,
quick. Like, I won't let this shit be known right here. Like, I ain't had nothing.
Dog, his
I ain't
face.
even good of mine. Yeah.
It was gold.
That was great. That was a great play by Livia, man. She's a fox.
Boy,
a fox, man.
I don't like her, but she's cold though. She's cold if she's
Facts. And Chris, also another thing too that we didn't say. Chris saw the hitman 2 days before.
Yeah.
So it let it be known that it wasn't just some carjacking, like you said to say, which helps to his conclusion that it was Junior.
Yeah.
From there, Tony meets Melfi in a car.
Mm-hmm.
He asks her, "Really, I gotta know seriously. Have you told anyone about our session?" Melfi tells him no.
Mm-hmm.
She asks him an important question: "Does your family know?"
Mm-hmm.
What do you think she was alluding to?
Does your family know? That's how. See, that's another one of those things. What is she referring to? Like another of those down the road concepts. Does your family know? It could be the therapy. It could be uh that your she, because I think right here is what she believes already, that Livia's behind it.
Right.
And I think she's starting to believe that if she's not behind coming at you, she has something to do with it, or she no. So I think she just, based on
She's
all of
not as innocent as you think she is
that
as your
part.
mom.
That's the best way I could put it. Because I'm like, I don't think she had that level of insight. We got the insight now because we've seen it,
Yeah,
but
she's just not innocent.
but is this Carmela's first time physically seeing Melfi?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think she talked to her on the phone in a college episode, but I don't
Yeah,
think
but
she's
she ain't
seen her
never
before
seen her.
this.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is like a seed of Tony being psycho by saying this was the jolt to this system that he needed
Yeah,
after
this shows
almost
he's a
being murdered?
sociopath. Yeah, absolutely. Sociopath. Straight
Mm,
sociopath. This
mm,
is what her colleagues are trying to tell her every season.
yeah.
This should not help her.
This is I made a meme this week, and I love it on another different page, but there's that right here where Tony says, when I was depressed, this is heavy to me. I said I didn't want to live. But I tell you what, I didn't want to die either.
Mm.
It took everything in me to fight to live. I was like, bro, that's powerful, dude.
Yeah, that
Like the
was
way they
that was a
let it
good bar.
linger, man, like that's real,
That
because
was a good
it's
bar.
so real, bro. It's like you be thinking you don't want to live until that moment comes. It's like I want
Until
to,
death started knocking at the door. You're
yeah,
like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't want to go
exactly.
that far.
Catch your breath.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
boy.
Let me act right. Quick
And
little cut scene. I'm
and
sorry,
she
go ahead.
says, I'm sorry, and she just mentions that the fantasy was him as a baby, the breastfeeding
Yeah,
part.
she gave him the back feeding on that. I thought she kind of knew that this was he was hallucinating at this point, but she didn't. She acted like later on she
Well, I
didn't know.
think, well, because he said, well, because he says that he's talking to Isabella, but then he had a vision, or he just
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
veered off into a
No, she
dream or
was just
something.
speaking to the vision. Yeah, that's
Okay, yeah,
true.
so that's
You're right.
why I think it was like that. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. From there, funny little cutscene of Seal and Paulie escorting AJ to the dance, man, after Tony forces him to go.
Yeah.
Nothing really here. It's just
Nah.
a quick little funny thing.
Yeah.
Junior, though, he goes to see Livia and he's off his rocker. Bitch, you out here playing. You
Boy.
acting like you don't know who your granddaughter is.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Don't leave me with this bullshit, bitch, is basically what he was
Yeah.
saying.
Uh-huh.
I fucked with Junior for bringing this to her
Oh
table.
man, I did.
And I fuck with Livia for like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this shit to the death.
See, that's man, that's that's top tier, top 10 mysteries,
Yeah.
because like she was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I forget things. So she
Yeah,
kind
like,
of
what you
did
talking about?
acknowledge that she does forget things. But here's an Easter egg here. She says you will find yourself forgetting things too.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Bro, did you catch that?
Yep.
Dog, that was such a
Nice
great.
foreshadowing.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like she acknowledged, like, okay, I forget things. All right, my bad. But so it's still not. Man, you want to go to jail? You want to go home? Like that's how I feel with Livia. I have no idea.
You don't, man.
Man,
She does a great job as that character of like stringing it out. Like, I
mm-hmm.
don't know, man. All right, last two scenes, Mo. Tony goes over to see Cusimano, ask him about his house guest. Cusimano is dumbstruck. What are you talking about, brother? There was no one here in my house.
Yeah.
Tony acts like he's just joking, gets Dr. Melfi on the phone, tells you, look, that whole thing, it was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Carm didn't argue about cutting my dick off. Cusimano didn't have a house guest. I'm wild in here. She tells him, stop taking the medicine. He says he already flushed it. End scene.
But I love though. No, actually, I feel pretty good. Like I like how the momentum shift from the first scene of Tony to this scene where he's like, nah, actually, he's keeping the same energy from the last night in the car. He's like, actually, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, like I'm back.
I'm back.
I had a little
but,
funk. I'm back now.
Yeah, and then like it's funny because he didn't have to really give this reveal on the phone. He ain't revealed much, but just the insinuation of saying, yeah, I feel pretty good, but I'm gonna find out who did this though. Like she knows who this guy is, the neighbor with no neck. Like we know, and I think it's funny too with Carmela as we wrap. When you're so convinced, like I don't know if you've ever been there, where you're reminiscing over a story, and you're telling the story. That's like that's not how it went. It's like, bro, yeah, it did. I'm telling you, because so and so. And I'm like, bro, that's not how it went. And you're so convinced, like you're not pulling my leg. So when he did that, I immediately thought about like some classic moments. Like I thought it. You sure it didn't go like
right?
Yeah. So yeah, it was so that was good.
Yeah,
that was good. Shorter episode too.
It was not a lot. We got short episode.
47 minutes.
Yep. Wrap us up, Mo.
All right. So every episode, when we end the show, we like to end with a few awards. That's what we do here at Good Earners. So the first thing we want to do is this episode. We got 3 ranking systems. Is it a made episode, being untouchable? Is it a good earner? It's been pretty good. Or is it just another envelope? It's all right. Spike, what say you?
It's pretty good. It was a good earner.
Good earner? I'm sure. I know you probably teetering between that and the another envelope. Yeah. I gotta go good earner, because I mean, anytime you get you get violence, I mean, come on, and him almost getting hit, and the stakes were really high. I mean, they stretched out the depression, of course, but I think we needed to get that part of Tony, because the next few seasons we already know, it's gonna be all of that nuance. But I think we needed that here, just like everything else they've given us all season. But so I say good earner. The MVP of this episode, who gets the good earner award in your book?
Man, if we could go with Tony, we would go with Tony.
He's a LeBron, obviously, yeah.
Right, obviously. MVP of this episode, I would have to get a Chris, man. Chris had a solid, low, strong performance. From telling Tony to preventing it that first day, because who knows what would have happened that first time had they caught it when he was on the meds.
Yeah.
Just so preventing that, following, and just putting 2 and 2 together. Chris, my MVP. Who you got?
I'm gonna go Chris too. Melfi's a close second. Second. But I'm going Chris too for all the same reasons. Like he did his thing, and I really like Chris here. Just like Legend of Tennessee Montesanti. Broken Balls Award. Who took the biggest L?
Junior. Yeah. Junior Soprano, man. He didn't get the hit. He didn't get to capitalize on the chance he had. He'll never get it again.
I'm gonna say the 2 people that were involved, I'm gonna put them together here, that was involved with the hit. The guy that spread the information that Mikey killed by making a joke, you got capped. And then the black dude, like this man was like, he looked like Just for Men. Like he had a fresh goatee, line-up suit, sweater. Bro, you got killed trying to kill somebody.
Bullshit. Yeah.
You had the ups on him and you died.
You had the ups, yeah.
And so
he's standing there with no gun and the goddamn orange juice.
Bro. So exactly. So them 2 took the biggest L, death. And lastly, you could pick one of each, or you can just pick one specifically. Your favorite moment, the flyest moment, or the funniest moment, or all 3.
Funniest moment was when Mikey killed your boy. Hey, come in, let me holler at you, bro.
Yeah, right.
And popped him. That was it. That's mine. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. Funny, I'm gonna go with when they was at the funeral and Junior didn't know what to say. He was talking about how this woman used to jack them off.
Remember I talking about it at her funeral.
He's like, bro, what am I talking about? Like, so that was funny. Fly. I like Christopher's bucket hat. I thought that was pretty cool.
He did have a whole little jumpsuit on. He was killing it.
Yeah, that was cool. And then my favorite moment, I think it's when he was in the hospital and how he got his groove back right there. Well, he got it when he was fighting, but when he got there, even how he was joking with his kids, he was back in that space. I loved it. Like, what's wrong with you?
It was the Tony
Cheer up.
Soprano. He's back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like he said, they don't got another father. I am their father. They got one. You know what I mean? So that's my favorite moment, and this has been episode 12 of season 1. Isabella of Good Earners reviewing The Sopranos. Man, if y'all haven't already, y'all can reach us goodearnerpod@gmail.com if y'all got questions, concerns, or anything. Y'all just want to show praise to the show. We'll highly appreciate it. Also, y'all can find us on Instagram, goodearnerpod_Sopranos. Get your Sopranos meme fix, and y'all can DM us if y'all are big fans. Possibly could be a guest. We might have to vex you and see what's up, but nonetheless, we appreciate your comments there. Spike, did you want to leave them with anything?
We out of here.
All right, and remember, don't forget about it.
Forget about it.